here at my grandparents' house. Hello, Grandma, knock knock.
Hello.
How's it going? Good to see ya. I'm a big
good.
grandma's boy, and I love telling my grandma everything I have going on in my life. Hey, Papa, how's it going?
Hey there, good to see you.
Good to see you too. And I've told her obviously about this project and about this book.
I feel like I know you already. Hello.
The scribe said that we should do a focus group for the book. They said that ideally you should find a demographic that's perfectly suited for the target audience of the book, which would be young people.
I read the book.
I appreciate your bravery.
And then we completely disregarded their suggestion and we asked ourselves how we could make it as funny as possible.
My grandma is a avid reader, and she was like, well, we should take this book to my book club. I said, Grandma, just so you know, this book is definitely not made for grandmas. She was like, oh, we've read 50 Shades of Grey in our book club before. Like, that's fine. Like, bring it. You know, they're gonna love it. And I was like, okay.
Well, this is different. You know, this is a bunch of old people. We don't have anything exciting like this. And
Everyone
it's
loves
way
to read,
outside
yeah.
our genre too, because we're historical fiction.
Okay.
So.
Well, this is not that.
That it is not.
We're taking this sex, drugs, and rock and roll book to a retirement home. What could go wrong?
Rolling, right? Okay, perfect, of course.
All right, today's the first day that we have anybody react to the author in my presence, where I actually have to experience their physical existence.
I would say it like that. My grandma and I rented a room in Leisure Village, their retirement community, and she had close to 10 people willing to be a part of our little focus group.
All right.
It was fun seeing our old folks come into the space and seeing 2 cameras in their face and a boom mic in front of them, and I was handing them a release form when they sat down. It was definitely not what they were used to with their book club. If you've read the first chapter, this book has a lot of very explicit sex scenes, Hollywood parties, crime, drug use and drug use and drug use. So I was really worried about how my grandma was gonna feel having her friends read it in the book club. So I was a little bit worried about being cut out of my grandma's will after. Joe's camera, Mark.
You imagine what it's gonna be like, but then you're sitting at the head of the room with 10 senior citizens with concerned looks in their eyes. And I'm thinking to myself, this is what my life has come to. I'm shilling this drug book to grandmas. Welcome everybody, thank you for participating in our first focus group for the author by the author. We figured that we would give ourselves a challenging task, speaking with a demographic who the book isn't necessarily intended for.
You succeeded.
We hope that comedy ensues. I thought it would be fun to go around the room and in a single word or phrase, define what this book was for you. First cycle around the room, it was pretty bleak.
Overwhelming. The book was very negative.
I found it very sad.
It wasn't my cup of tea.
I couldn't finish it.
It was pretty negative. Some people didn't finish it, some people couldn't finish it, somebody didn't show up, somebody had a heart attack.
I'm going to say the book was interesting, and he's an interesting writer. He uses a lot of big words, but I don't think it was a novel.
The storyline just really wasn't there. I really felt there was no plot.
Myra's reaction I loved.
I saw dreams in this book. Even at the end, I wondered if the whole thing was a dream.
She was questioning the entire time what was real and what was not. She talked to my grandma afterwards asking for 2 more copies of the book so she can give it to her grandkids. So Myra's grandkids are probably reading this right now, which is cool.
I'm Bob Erickson, and I'm old,
Bob, on the other hand, Bob was not a fan.
and I have trouble relating to the lifestyle of this individual.
He wanted to leave the book. He wanted to return it, he said. And I was like, no, they're your books to keep. And he refused and set the book down on the table and left.
I did have a feeling that this might be the 14th draft of something that needs a 15th draft, because I didn't feel satisfied. I don't know what good the book does. Now, does a piece of literature have to do some good? I don't know, but I didn't feel uplifted. I didn't feel that I learned anything I didn't know. I didn't meet a character that I wanted to know better.
Richard, a modern Renaissance man, a man of many lives.
Having taught writing, I'm a director of theater. I'm a bisexual person. Ta-da! I owned antique shops and sold to very wealthy people.
I loved all of Richard's reactions. As soon as he started talking, I was like, this guy gets it.
I kept thinking of Dostoevsky because he was one of the first ones who, this guy is not a hero. He's not trying to present himself as a hero. He's trying to show the ugly underbelly without judging it, But again, saying, I hate myself for it, but I'm going to show it to you.
I was happy to actually participate in a real conversation about literature with depth.
Age kind of went out the window, all of our different backgrounds just disappeared, and suddenly all we're doing is just talking about words on a page.
Whether they like it or not, we're having a discussion about literature, which, you know, I can hopefully do with my eyes closed at this point, and my mouth gagged, and my ass plugged.
I don't think he set out with the intention to make the world a better place with writing the book, clearly.
Probably not. He's an absurdist. An absurdist is out there to prove that there's no meaning and there's no purpose to life.
He cares about absurdity.
Absurdity, that's his goal, that's his aim, that's why he wrote the book, because there's no meaning or purpose to life.
That's the impression you get of this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yet he's always judging himself, right?
But not getting to a point where he changed
Or he
behavior.
evolves. And we want him to have a compass. I mean, it's kind of like you're rooting for him, like, and then what happens? And it's just a repeat. Every situation ended with, with my cock in her mouth. It seemed juvenile. It seemed misogynistic.
These people were having a real reaction to the book and to the character.
And to hear the depth of the reaction, even if it wasn't a positive one, it had depth, and it made people feel something.
For me, that's what art is.
You know, I want to be putting out art that makes people feel. Even if it's, you know, an uncomfortable feeling, it is a feeling. You know, we got into some really engaging conversation on judging the subject of the art that you're interacting with. Should we judge, or should we just kind of witness what these characters are going through?
My sense of the book is embarrassment, that he's embarrassed.
Should be.
Then why publish it?
I mean, it is. It's narcissistic, right?
He's rich and famous, and he wants me to read his book, but he doesn't want to take, not only cowardice, but I feel angry. He's so wonderful that he can't be associated with this, but we can read it and pay for it. That's okay. There's something rotten about this whole thing.
It's almost like he doesn't like what he's become. Well, stop it. He did all these drugs. He never seemed to enjoy himself. Yeah. He just threw them in his mouth, and what about his business?
Why bother?
I loved all the conversation on drugs.
I mean, every chapter basically features and favors a new drug and then combines them all.
I'd be dead if I took that many drugs.
I have young kids and grandkids that have probably taken more than I am aware of.
The audience here found that concerning.
He was taking Adderall like candy, and he wanted something more, so he wrote to his psychiatrist back in New York.
Like he's at the airport and he said, whoops.
Oops, yeah, it just popped into 3, 4, 5, Molly's or something,
Mark, who was the doctor, was fact-checking the author's ability to handle so many drugs at once.
Pharmacology of the Molly. You can take a handful every day, it's not going to work. I don't know why you take it every single day, it's ridiculous.
Specifically down to serotonin firing off.
It blocks the reuptake of serotonin, just like Prozac.
Right.
And when it does, the serotonin gets metabolized until it's gone.
And Bob, who didn't say much,
If you looked them up, are each drug supposed to do something special?
seemed to be more interested in, maybe how one might procure said drugs.
And it was written in a language that I don't speak, which was drugalese, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And then I figured I don't understand it. They're speaking more drugalese. I don't know. Is this the future of this generation? If so, it's even sadder. But maybe if you brought us all some drugs, we'd appreciate it.
Open the bag. Stay till the end. Yeah. The red cookies are.
So not chocolate chips.
There's this moral overtone to the conversation about who are young people today, and are we so lost that the only thing that we can find ourselves wanting to do is take a shit ton of drugs to feel something.
Children have lost it, baby. They don't know how to enjoy themselves. I know it's a generality. Your grandchildren are all perfect in every way.
We're not all like this, I'm certainly not doing as many drugs as the author is.
Is that what the book is just about? No, in my opinion, it's not. But it does beg the question, why is the author living this way?
Doesn't he always seem a victim?
Yeah.
I mean, even shit that he does, he's a victim of what he does.
Well, he addressed that in there. I don't know if it's a generation addicted to being victimized, a generation that embraces narcissism and physical acts or immediacy instead of thinking or planning things out.
But we were all raised in the hippie period, right? Everyone took the drugs and slept with everybody.
Right.
No,
and I don't.
no. No, we're a couple years older than them.
Yeah.
So you got out before then?
Yeah,
We got out.
we were married, had kids.
I was just having fun engaging with what I love so much about the book, which is, who is the author? Does that actually even matter?
I've read worse crap. What specifically about this book, do you know, the publishers said, no, I won't because...
It was more his representation side.
So his agent, his people said, we can publish it,
Think
but
of the cultural climate that we live in today.
the cancel culture.
Does anybody who read this care about who wrote it?
No, I do. Because maybe he turned his life around. Maybe he's a totally different person now. He's embraced the actor role rather than the author role because now he's both.
Yeah, when you find out it's Johnny Depp or it's Brad Pitt, is that going to influence how you feel about the book?
Or how you feel about the person.
Yes, I would like to know about that.
Yeah, so in that case, he'd probably sell more books. He said, I am Joe Blow and I wrote this book. That's going to sell it.
But a lot of the book, when he shares these experiences, he questions, was it real? Or was this a figment of my imagination?
That's what Myra was saying.
And so how are we supposed to know if it was real or not if he doesn't even remember if it was real or not?
Just going into it, obviously we thought it was going to be funny bringing this R-rated, maybe X-rated book to these old folks. And very quickly, that humor went away when it was just literature lovers like Daniel and I talking with a bunch of other literature lovers and just discussing the contents of a book.
Not everybody's gonna love it. A lot of people are gonna have judgments about it and about the character. And it's my job to hopefully turn whatever comes my way into some positive exploration of who this person is and why this book is relevant now.
That's an objective we want out of this project, is to get people reading again and engaging with literature and talking to their friends about it.
Well, I wish him well.
Yeah.
I'm going to get going.
Any chance of getting it autographed?
Yeah, Danny, just return it.
Tyler will do it.
That's right, the author. While the book club didn't have the most positive response to the book itself, they had a very positive response to what we did. My grandma told me that, they were all talking amongst each other about how much fun it was. And, it was the first time they brought a camera crew into Leisure Village.
Okay, and you're coming over.
All right, yeah.
Because I have a job for you.
I got you.
I am really thankful for them doing that for us. It was really powerful.
Engaging with it, talking about the book, this experience gave me a new sense of purpose. We've had a year plus getting the book approved and putting the whole packaging together and how are we going to market it.
Bye, Dee.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Good seeing
I want to get a hug too.
Thank
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Mwah. You're the best. We really appreciate
Goodbye, everybody.
it. Thank
Thanks
you so
for coming.
much.
It was fun.
All of that, and now it's like, wow, we're ready to release this book, and that means I need to reinvent my relationship with it. It's like now I need to be the one who's talking about it.
It's now time to get it out to the world and for people to read it and give the responses on it, and that's scary. It's a leap of faith to just release something out there and to sit in front of the responses to it.
This book won't sell well with old people.
The experience made me excited to take this out into the world in different ways.
I'm just happy that people read it, so I'll take that as a win.
And I just love that it made them feel something, right? Like they all had reactions from it. It's a real adrenaline rush to want to continue doing that and to get it to more people that I don't know at all, to see what life the book takes on into the world.
It sounds like this was a really affirming experience to you, and since the book is imminently going to be on Amazon and all these other places for people to purchase, I'm wondering how that makes you feel now.
Should we talk about this? Yeah, we're having some issues with Amazon. They're not going to let us publish the book.
Yeah, simply put, Amazon is not publishing the book. They are banning it from their platform, and that's obviously where everyone gets their books these days, of just ordering it online. If it's not on Amazon, we're fucked. There's no other way to put it.